Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. You guys really seemed to enjoy my last video on Smartschoolboy9, so I figured I'd drop back in and go over some of the stuff that has happened since then, and also some of the stuff that I missed in the first video, because despite the hours of research that I did, there is so much that I didn't talk about. I really do appreciate the support that you guys gave to the last video, by the way. It got like 6k likes. Let's see if we can outdo it for this one. That might be a bit ambitious, but we'll go for it, why not? So we'll get right in. I think the most eventful thing that has happened since the last video is that one of the victims of Smartschoolboy9, as in one of the pictures of the children that he has been using all over his accounts, the girl from those pictures has actually come out and spoken out and detailed her experience and how it's made her feel and what she is going to do going forward. If you've been following this situation at all, the name Joan Tang should be disgustingly familiar to you by now. Well, it turns out her real name is Camille, and this is what she looks like, and these are the posts that Smartschoolboy9 was making with her in it. These are old pictures, by the way, so Smartschoolboy9 specifically went back on her profiles and found pictures where she was 15 years old to use in his ones. I couldn't imagine the feeling of looking at yourself as a minor be plastered all over the internet without your consent or knowledge by one of the most prolific predators that the internet has ever seen, by the way. So she said this: "Hi, I have only now just been made aware of this Smartschoolboy9 situation. My name is Camille, and this man has used videos of me from when I was 15 years old and used them to create an alias called Joan Tang. If anyone has any evidence, please message me on my Instagram or TikTok. I'll be reporting this situation to the police and identity theft, as well as and child content, and I could use as much evidence as possible. Thank you." I think all of that is totally justified, and she's well within her right to do any of that. Once again, I couldn't imagine how uncomfortable and violating this must feel. I mentioned in the last video that I was glad that the Reddit was taking down a lot of posts to, I guess, prevent cyber sleuthing and weird internet detectives just ruining everything. But for whatever reason, this time they took down the post of Camille revealing that she is Joan Tang and asking for help. Like, no, this is one of the ones that you should definitely leave up. This is like the whole point of the subreddit being a thing. How could you make a subreddit like purely on the basis of finding new information about the bloke and then go on to silence one of his victims pretty much? For whatever reason, they deemed it appropriate to do so, and they had to make a whole new subreddit basically just so that she could get herself out there. Something I also didn't mention in the last video was the Stephanie Schooley Facebook account. This is not one of those weird fan accounts that have been going around, by the way. This is pretty much confirmed to be him because it has posts dating back to like 2020. And when you take into account how long it's been going on for, plus the consistencies that it has with what we've seen from Smartschoolboy9 on every other social media platform, I'm like 99% sure that this is actually him. I mean, the profile picture is literally just a fucking school table and chair. The only person who makes the fact that they go to school this much of their personality is Smartschoolboy9, and he doesn't even go to fucking school. The majority of the count is just more of the same that we've already seen. It's got distorted images, it's got, you know, those weird collages. Classic Smartschoolboy9 trademark style. It's like fucking Aardman animation at this point, man. He can make Wallace and Gromit out of shit like this. And once again, he's almost goading everyone that they can't do anything to stop him by saying, "Be more discerning about posting to the public," which is apparently a quote from her mother. A brief video, and I'm saying during my video, so it's the year 2024. I'm not gonna just watch the video. We can all hear what she's saying. I can't believe I just said she, by the way. I'm playing into his fucking fantasy. We can all hear what Smartschoolboy9 he is saying. And once again, he describes himself incredibly. He says, "I'm Stephanie. Yep, a real girl," like he's fucking Pinocchio.
So, it's the year 2024. I'm at youth summer camp. I'm Stephanie, officially a teenager. It's nice.
By the way, guys, I'm not lying when I said that I actually had trouble sleeping the night that I uploaded the first video. Like, this shit really creeped me out for some reason. I think what disturbs me most is just how obvious it is that he is getting off to it. And honestly, I think it's actually a bit deeper than I made it out to be in my last video. Last time I talked about how, like, I thought he got off on goading people, making fun of them, saying, "You're probably wanking off as you write these texts," because he was wanking off as he writes the text. He was projecting, right? But the more I think about it, I think that he gets off on being an actual schoolboy that is being preyed upon. It could very well be a response to whatever sexual trauma he has gone through as a kid, right? People have been speculating that he was, you know, he went through something traumatic as a child, right? And I don't doubt that, but we don't know for sure. He could genuinely just be cuckoo, right? Like, maybe nothing happened to him and he's just that weird. But at every opportunity that he can, he always makes it out to be like whoever he's talking to is a predator who is preying upon him. And whilst, yes, I do think that part of it is projection, I do also now think that he has a almost kink for being preyed upon as a schoolboy, which might be why he dresses up as someone in school all the time, because you can't exactly be preyed on as a student in school when you're 60 years old. Your only option at that point is to cosplay, right? I suppose he also just happens to have a high heel fetish and a big red lips fetish as well. I also said in the last video that there was no evidence to suggest that the David London Facebook account was Smartschoolboy9, but this Stephanie Schooley Facebook account displays similar political opinions to David London, and also writes in a very similar way when they're talking about politics. Like here they are talking about Donald Trump, which David London also spoke a lot about Donald Trump on his personal Facebook account. These early posts being so normal, by the way, sort of makes me think that maybe he rebranded from whatever account this was before to Stephanie Schooley. I don't know though, that is just a pure guess. By the way, I got a lot of comments in the last video saying, oh, you idiot, we do know who he is. His name's David Alter, he's 60 years old, you're a moron, do your fucking research. Guys, are you dense? His name is not David Alter. Well, maybe it is, right? Maybe it is. Once again, I don't know for sure, but it would be a pretty big fucking coincidence for someone who got famous from their alter ego to actually have the surname Alter. This is what I mean about cyber sleuths being more of a harm than they are good, because a lot of the people on the Reddit or on the internet or in the comment section of YouTube videos will just eat up any old shit that they're given about this situation. If you took a couple seconds to actually think fucking critically, you might come to the conclusion that him being called David Alter would be possibly way too much of a coincidence for it to actually be real. The David part, fair enough. He uses the word David a lot. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that his name is David. I've yet to see any evidence that his last name is actually Alter. What there is more evidence now, though, even more than last time, is that he's been doing this for so long that it can't be a publicity stunt. This cannot be purely for attention. He's getting off on it, right? This is something that he enjoys so much, he has been dedicated to it for actual decades. This tweet from the Salmon Youth Center has gone pretty viral recently. They promote health and well-being, education and work, and community engagement in young people. Now, for my American audience, these community centers are a dime a dozen in the UK. And by the way, they do work. Like, they really do great things for the community. Anyway, I guess one quirk or sort of service that they do or provide is to publish works that are sent to them by people who visit their youth center, or even people who don't, because Salmon Youth Center is in Bermondsey, and here they are publishing a letter from somebody in Doncaster, which of course is one of the places where Smartschoolboy9 is theorized to reside in. And it just so happens that the name of the person who sent this work in is called Stephanie. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Look at this lovely handwritten card we received in the post this week from Stephanie, an 11-year-old girl living in #Doncaster. It's great to hear Salmon's work is resonating with young people everywhere. My name is Stephanie, mixed race, born in London. I'm age 11 and in year 7. Once again, the first thing that he does, like everything else we've seen, is mention his age and the year that he's in school. If this was the only time we've seen something like this happen, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but the fact that every piece of work that is allegedly attributed to Smartschoolboy9 starts like this is very suspicious. I'm hoping I don't have any fights in my school, which is year 7, by the way. Just gonna make that clear again if it wasn't already fucking clear enough. Here is a picture of me and the so awesome heels that we girls are allowed. It's the fucking high-heeled mini boots again, man. Look at the collage. It's classic Smartschoolboy9, man. This is from 2018, by the way, so this isn't some troll, like, pretending to be him. I don't know how many Smartschoolboy9 impersonators there were that many years ago. Once again, I don't want to make any definitive claims, but I'm like 99% sure that this is actually him. By the way, I got speaking to someone after the last video who knows a lot about paraphilias, which are basically hyper-specific fetishes. Yeah, I know it wasn't their best flex, but whatever, they had it. And apparently, people with shoe fetishes tend to have a subgenre of that fetish where they enjoy the uncomfortableness of the high heel, for example, whether it be wearing it themselves or watching somebody else struggle to wear it. Obviously, you can't really do much in them, so I think they're only used for foreplay, but I actually managed to find an eBay listing of, like, shoes specifically made for people that have this fetish. So as weird as Smartschoolboy9's high heel thing seems to be, he's definitely not such an anomaly that no one else has it, right? It's like an allergy. But not like a peanut allergy or one of the mainstream boring ones. I'm talking like a kiwi allergy. This is also one of the biggest things that's happened since the last video. Somebody went to the alleged house of Smartschoolboy9, which we did talk about, right? The house where he potentially lives, and they smashed his window in with a brick. Now, this video got 3 million views on TikTok and, rightfully by the way, got taken down afterwards. They then re-uploaded it and said, TikTok, this is fake, the video got taken down, blah blah blah. You may say that it's fake, but there is evidence to suggest that the windows actually have been smashed. These pictures here allegedly show the house now, after the windows have been done in, being rebuilt, basically. Many people have taken this sign as like him being barricaded in the house and like confirmation of the police investigation or whatever. That's not what this is. That's not what a police investigation looks like. They don't just put wood on the windows of your house. And by the way, I'm suspicious as to even if there is a police investigation. There has been no evidence of that whatsoever. And the internet does have a lot of people who are very willing to lie about police investigations happening, right? It's not an uncommon thing, unfortunately. A lot of people really need to learn not to believe everything they see on the internet. It's like it's drilled into us from such a young age, but people just don't seem to fucking understand it. But needless to say, smashing his windows in is one of the dumbest things you could do. Like, if there ever was a wrong way to handle this situation, it would be this. And to make matters worse, it's been theorized that he actually moved out of this house months ago, so no one even lives there at the minute. Also, by the way, even if it was Smartschoolboy9's house, like, without a shadow of a doubt, that's still not a valid reason to fuck up the system and chuck bricks at his windows and destroy his property. It's just pure vigilanteism from a TikTok account that doesn't even seem to really care about the situation or the people affected. Like, it really does seem as though they're just doing it for views and fucking TikTok clout. They don't give a fuck. It really is just a bit grim, innit? You fucking freak. All this really does is cause more issues for the potential police investigation that may be happening, and also just for the community of whoever lives here. Like, you've caused property damage for whatever landlord owns the gaff, and then you've probably terrified the neighbors as well. Like, now they might think that fucking brick-throwing maniacs are around their gaff throwing bricks at houses. It's not a nice situation for a local to be in. And by the way, some of this goes to the people watching this video as well. I'm not saying that you're just smashing windows in, but I'm serious when I say don't even try or attempt to interact with anything that is potentially Smartschoolboy9. All you'll be doing is interfering with the professionals who allegedly are trying to handle the situation. You'll be making it a lot harder for them. And also potentially getting yourself into danger yourself. It's not your responsibility. Seriously. Just don't bother. I do get it though. Don't think I don't understand why Smartschoolboy9 elicits such a strong reaction in a lot of the people who hear about it. I do get it because he is sick to a whole different level. Like, sick to an extent that most of us will never even understand. I don't even think I did it justice when I talked about how weird he was in the last video that I did about him. Because in that last video, I talked a lot about how he was projecting, like in that famous text where he said, "You're probably wanking to this right now." I theorized that he said that because he was wanking to, you know, the text right now. And he's projecting it onto the person that he's talking to, basically accusing them of the thing that he's doing himself. And I do still believe that that is true to an extent. However, I think it's even deeper than that. I think that his fetishes and kinks have gone beyond just being a predator, and I think it's actually entered a realm where he is fantasizing about being an actual student in school who was being preyed upon. I'm definitely starting to believe more and more that he was inflicted a certain type of sexual trauma as a child, because it would definitely make this sort of behavior a bit easier to understand, but we don't know for sure. That is just me theorizing, right? Like, maybe he is just genuinely that sick and twisted for no apparent reason. But it also would explain why he dresses up as a student all the time. Like you can't exactly play out your fantasy of being a student being preyed upon when you're 60 years old and no longer in school. Your only option at that point is to cosplay as a student, basically. A schoolboy or a schoolgirl, which, by the way, are extremely outdated terms. I've never heard anyone non-ironically refer to someone as a schoolboy or schoolgirl probably in my entire life. So that definitely does add merit to the theory that he's like a 60-year-old man. Although, to be fair, I do think it was intentional. I don't think he actually thinks that this is how people in school interact with each other. He's so on the nose and weird and dumb in all the posts that he makes, but then weirdly intelligent with the way that he goes about it, that a lot of it is intentional, like, without a doubt in my mind. There's also a theory going around that the reason his face looks so fucking weird and ugly is because he's actually wearing a mask, and I actually think that there is some credit to this theory. We'll go over some of the pictures and what the user has specified as important information. So in this first picture, they point out a mask outline. I personally just think that it's his hair being dodgy. In this one, they point out how the top and bottom half of his face are completely different colors. I personally believe that the reason he paints his bottom half of his face more than the top is to accentuate and emphasize the big red lips and tongue thing. Like, he probably has a fetish for whatever the fuck for whatever the fuck that is that he's doing all the time, and he wants you to look at that mouth sort of area, right? A lot of what he does is accentuate the fetishes that he has. Like, it's very clear to see what he's into based on how he dresses, how he presents himself, right? The high-heeled boots is a perfect example, by the way. Sensor bar under his chin to hide visible mask lines. I think this one's valid. I think this one's, like, very, very possible, actually. Top teeth fake with bottom teeth real. The top teeth do genuinely look very fake. I've been thinking this for a while, like, who knows, maybe he just has the most buck teeth in the world, but they do look a bit fake, so there's validity to this one as well. Looks like it's peeling up at the nose bridge, and then they point at his nose. I'm not sure about this one. I think he is just genuinely that fuck ugly, but who knows, right? And then they show a Temu listing of the potential mask that it could be, right? So masks like this do exist, and I do think that it is very possible he is wearing a mask. It would explain a lot, to be fair. It would also explain partially why he's not been caught yet, right? If he's not using his real face. It makes sense for sure, we just don't know for sure. I think that this one is undeniable, though, that a lot of the look that he gives these kids in, like, the AI-generated photos or whatever tend to look a lot like sex dolls. So here's a picture of a kid who looks like a fucked up version of Macaulay Culkin. That Smartschoolboy9 obviously generated, probably using AI. And then a picture of a standard sex doll to compare it to. And then here's another one, just for good measure, because why not? You can never have too much. Yeah, I think it's very possible that the two are linked. Either that, or the reason that he has a fetish for that type of look is the same reason that the sex dolls look that way, right? There might just be a really specific genre of people who enjoy that look for whatever reason, right? I don't know. Here's another post that went huge on the Reddit where someone is theorizing that this post here is about Smartschoolboy9 in 2016. So the search is Schoolboy in Doncaster, and Melanie Watson has said, just heard from Denim Academy that they've had to call the police because the copycat clown, we all know who, has been near kids who were learning outside. He is now stalking kids and scaring the shit out of them. This is too bloody far. And then about 50 full stops. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say that internet detectives know fuck all, because this is the reachiest of reaches. I said it in the last video, and I'll say it again, there is no evidence of him being physically creepy to a real child in the wild, right? In public. Every video that supposedly displays him doing such a thing is edited and manufactured by him. They're always the most obvious edits in the world, by the way, so people who genuinely believe that they're real either have no critical thinking skills or are just lying to you. The video of him running down the street to chase that boy is like the best example of this, by the way. Do you really think that in broad daylight, people are just gonna watch this weird fucking bloke chase this kid and do nothing about it, and nothing's gonna come out of that? Fuck no, it's an edited video. He's shown himself and then just spliced a clip of a kid running, and then voice-overed himself going, that was sorry, I'll never do that again, by the way. Don't get me wrong, it's very weird that he wants people to believe that he's doing these things, but he is not doing these things. At least publicly. Also, this was 2016, and they mentioned copycat clowns, so the killer clown thing was huge in 2016, like it just probably wasn't him. By the way, I'm not talking about just commenters and people online who think that the edited videos are real. I've seen genuinely huge YouTubers recently actually try to convince their audience that Smartschoolboy9 actually entered a school and, like, recorded the school he was in. But then when they show the video on screen for reference, it's the most obvious edit job that you've ever seen in your life. I'll play it now. Hopefully you'll be able to know what I'm talking about.
I'm here at school.
It's like, hey man, if you're a normal person who has never edited anything in their life and knows nothing about editing, maybe you'll think it's real, right? Maybe. But if you're a fucking YouTuber who is looking at this video and thinks that it's real, one of two things could be true. You're either the dumbest motherfucker that has ever come out of a pussy, or you're intentionally lying to your audience on some CNN fear-mongering bullshit for some reason. I seriously don't know. It doesn't make the video more entertaining to make him out to be a bigger creep. It is just sensationalism. Another link that people have made is between Smartschoolboy9 and the BTK killer from a couple years back. Not as in, like, they're mates or anything like that. They don't go down pub together, but they do share very similar fetishes, and to be honest, even though it might seem like a reach, I kind of see where they're coming from in this case. BTK stands for blind, torture, and kill, which is what he would do to all of his victims, mainly women, but there were men and children thrown in there as well. He was very intelligent though, and he didn't get caught for years, and interestingly enough, the way that he was caught is because he got too cocky. He sent a floppy disk over to the police station, which they were able to track back to his address. Well, not his address, but just a place that was very identifiable. I think it was his church or something. But I think it's interesting that his cockiness and his goading and his love of, I guess, taunting people was what got him done for, because Smartschoolboy9 does a very similar thing. They both have this love for taunting people and letting them know, haha, I'm doing something wrong, and you know I'm doing something wrong, but you can't catch me. I do think that's what he's doing a lot of the time, by the way, and I really do think he gets a kick out of it. And maybe it will be his downfall, who knows? But anyway, where the fetish thing comes even more clear is that Dennis Rader would take photos of himself tied up, dressed up as a woman, etc, etc. Here's one really popular one. You can definitely see where the Smartschoolboy9 vibes come from. If I put them side by side, you can definitely see the similarities for sure. Dennis Rader would also draw his fantasies about what he wanted to do to his victims in a very similar manner to Smartschoolboy9's collages. Like, look at that. Honestly, they might have been mates. They might have been fucking working together, because these are eerily similar. Here's another famous picture of him performing his fetish in a really weird way. What a fucking weird... But look, just to be clear, I'm not saying that they knew each other, or even that one was inspired by the... I mean, Dennis was definitely not inspired by Smartschoolboy9. Smartschoolboy9 may have taken some sort of inspiration from Dennis Rader because he's insanely popular, but I don't even think that that's the case. I just think that they happen to have very similar fetishes, and also happen to express these fetishes in very similar ways. It is hauntingly worrying how eerily similar he is in terms of mindset to one of the most prolific and dangerous serial killers of all time, though. Again, I'm not accusing him of killing anyone, but it's weird. Here's another post that has gone pretty viral from a user on the Kendrick Lamar fan club Discord for some reason. It seems as though predators really aren't safe around anything Kendrick Lamar related. But anyway, he posted, "So now I have been doing some more research and can finally confirm that the David London account on Facebook is in fact using the same email address that was using the Smartschoolboy9's Instagram account." Another thing to also mention is that lyricist David is indeed Smartschoolboy as well. However, we do have some more IP addresses, and funnily enough, more of them linked to Liverpool. Anyways, I'll show more proof down below. We are the original people who have found this info. Anyone else claiming that they did are simply chasing clout. And then they go on to just put a bunch of information that they have on him, supposedly like his phone number, the dates and stuff, account closures, registration dates, the usernames. They basically think that they fucking CSI'd this shit, but in my opinion, it's all just hearsay. Like, there's such little evidence of any of this. Just because you put the word verified after a censored version of a phone number, it doesn't mean that it's actually fucking verified. Again, maybe it's true. Who knows? But I'm just not going to believe it. There's so little evidence. Here's another example of something that is just so dumb. It's a Twitter thread that stemmed from someone criticizing the cosplays of Smartschoolboy9, which those in and of themselves are also so dumb. Like, I'm honestly expecting hordes of people to dress up as this bloke for Halloween. That'd be like if I went out as Jimmy Savile for Halloween. It's really fucking weird. Honestly, now that I'm sat here thinking about it, it honestly would not be that weird if we seen a Jimmy Savile out in the UK on Halloween as like an actual costume. You know what? It is kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie, so grey area. People are dressing up and praising Smartschoolboy9. Are people forgetting that the guy is a pedo and little kids? This is just sick. Okay, first of all, yeah, they are cosplaying as him and shit, and like they're making weird TikTok. They're not praising him, like, at all. Like, they're being weirdos, but they're not sat there going, yes, Smartschoolboy9 is my favorite Instagram account. I love him. He's like fucking David Dobrik. Smartschoolboy9 unironically has more personality than David Dobrik, by the way. It's not a good personality, but it's something. Anyway, Scoob responded, wait, he killed? None of the videos I've watched said that part. To which the original poster said, apparently he killed and did some ritual. So you went from saying he killed kids to apparently he killed kids. You've already switched it up too much for my liking. Like, it's just unfounded. Anyway, somebody with an actual fucking brain replied, you'll believe anything. He didn't kill anyone, nor did a ritual happen. Bruh. He talked about a fake account apparently wanting to do so. If he would have killed anyone, he would have been in jail by now. Y'all are slow. And then someone quote tweeted that with, imagine defending a literal cannibalistic She's not defending him. She's not saying, like, his actions are actually... You know what, when you think about it, like, his victims kind of fucking deserved it. Like, what were they wearing? Maybe in England, just, like, kids deserve to be preyed upon. I kind of agree with his politics, so, like... I don't know, he brings up some kind of good points, Smartschoolboy9 does. That's not what she's doing at all. She's just questioning the bullshit logic that you guys are spouting. Like morons. As she should be doing, by the way. Or maybe not should be doing, but has every right to be doing. And once again, just unfounded claims about him being cannibalistic. I've never heard that fucking theory before, and I've done more research than probably 99% of people. Here's another post that has been linked to Smartschoolboy9, supposedly. We believe we could have some useful information on a sexual assault on a schoolgirl in 2016. We believe the possible suspect could be David Alter, who lived on Christchurch Road at the time. He currently goes by the online alias of Smartschoolboy9. To be fair, I do kind of see the similarities, like, whatever, I guess, right? It's fine. And then they also show that he was seen walking along Frenchgate in Doncaster. Once again, though, I just think this is one of those reaches. There's no evidence at all. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but I would just love a post with some actual fucking evidence at this point. Anyway, finally, we're gonna go over his hit single, Running Tram. A great song that I don't know why I didn't mention in the first video.
I think I hear a running tram.
I mean, right away, these opening lyrics, they leave an impression on you, right? It's a masterpiece, really. For those who don't know, a Marianne is a young male prostitute, usually, and a Steely Dan is just another word for a sex toy, and then a running tram is just another term for, like, running a train on someone. I'm sure you all know what that one means. I'm not gonna fucking explain it.
Going back in time, not out of time. I think I like a little lemon and lime.
To go back in time, not out of time, in my opinion, is just a pretty clear reference to how he wants to be a school student again, so he's going back in time to be a student. It's not that deep, really. Maybe the song's not as much of a masterpiece as I originally thought it was. It's quite on the nose. He then goes on to say lemon and lyche. People think he says lime, but if you fucking have ears, you can hear that he says lyche. But yeah, lemon is just a graphic sexual situation, and lyche is a dead body. Oh, what a fun, nice song this is. And then from then on, he just goes into some weird a cappella thing where he's on his mic going and then just saying words over it, which I guess is what music is at the end of the day, but I mean, it's not a very good song to say the least. There is one moment that I find quite humorous though.
Running tram. Running tram. Taking the bus or the train and the bus and the bus is the running tram. You didn't sold a soldier, you did not steal the sand. I think you know where this guitar is going. I'm back in time.
Back in time.
Back in time.
You know what, guys? I think I'm done with this. I think I'm done. I think we're gonna end the video now, actually. As always, I hope you all enjoyed. This will probably be my last video on Smartschoolboy9, unless something dramatic happens and you guys want to hear more from me. But for now, I think that's about it. So, once again, let's hit that like goal. Thank you all to my patrons as well, as always. But for now, I think we're done, so I'll see you all later. Bye!